Welcome to the Fitness Oracle, where we have real conversations with real people just like you, with real stories just like yours. And this is one of their stories. I am your host, John Katsavos, SammyFerens.com, or even on Amazon. He is a professional speaker, trainer, NLP, and John Maxwell certified speaker and coach. He also speaks based on events based on mindset. In this episode, we talk about his point of view on narcissists and what he calls the blaming narcissist, how to put gratitude into your life, putting yourself first, and making time for the life that you want. And we also talk about something that I'm probably already involved with right now is 75 hard. I really do hope that you guys enjoy this episode. It is packed with tons of useful tips. And let's get into it. Sammy, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, thanks for having me, man. I sure do appreciate it.
It's great to have you here. I know you and I are going to have an hour filled of amazing stuff to talk about. But before we do, I just want to ask. I know at the time of this recording, it's my Easter. Last week it was the Catholic Easter. So how was your Easter?
Oh, it was all right. For the meaning behind it, it was great. My wife, unfortunately, a few weeks ago had foot surgery, so she's still ailing that, and so we didn't get to be very active this year.
Well, that's okay. I mean, sometimes you just need to have some downtime, even on Easter.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I agree, but that's hard to do when you got three grandsons.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have grandkids, but yeah, I have two little nephews, and yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, they want their eggs, they want their baskets. Yeah, oh yeah, which they did get. We just it was like, here's your baskets. We're not spending the day with you. Sorry, we love you. We're gonna go.
That's cool. That's cool. So before we get into like what we're going to talk about in this episode, I want to know what first got you interested in this line of work?
In the line of work of self development or help or a little bit
Um,
all of it.
all of it, basically.
uh, Different things. I would say. So I own a painting company also, and a few years ago, well, eight years ago to be exact, I was having lunch with a Sherwin-Williams manager, and he asked me. He said, "Well, why are you doing this? Why do you own the paint company? You know what's that all about?" And I said, like most people, unfortunately, well, to make money. And he was like, "Yeah, I get that, but why?" And I said, and I answered his question three or four times. Well, to make money. I got kids at home. I got kids. I got bills. To make money. And he said, Sammy, here's what I'm going to tell you. When you really figure out why you do what you're doing in life, money will be the last thing on your plate, but it'll be the thing that you'll make more than you ever thought possible. And I sat there and looked at this guy and thought he is nuts. Like, why do people open a business? Well, to make money. And it took me about a year. About a year later, I was working on a lady's house, and she had been gone all week, and we literally transformed her whole interior of her house. And the day she come back, I was actually in a back room working, and I hear a scream. So I go running out. She's in the kitchen, and she's got her hands over her face, and she is just bawling. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. This is crazy. Why is this lady crying? I grab her up. I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And she said, Sammy, I've lived in this house, I think she said 23 years. And this is the first time in 23 years I've been so excited to walk into it. Like you changed my whole life. Like this is so amazing. And I knew then, I said, that's the feeling that I want everybody that comes in my presence to have. And so that kind of it changed the whole trajectory of my painting business and my life as far as man, just that feeling in that moment was so awesome. And I had to learn, how can I do this not just in a painting business, but in my life every day. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. It's rare to hear somebody uh with that kind of a backstory where it's their bread and butter, and all of a sudden they find that passion inside of it. Usually it's especially in as a personal trainer and martial artist, you hear a lot of you know, bullying and stuff like that, being teased as a teenager, and it's like it's more of like a self reaction. It's more of a reactive um response
Yeah.
to something that's happened negative in somebody's past. But to see something like that is it's powerful. It's powerful. Have there ever been any moments where you just wanted to quit and just say, I'm done? I'm done. I'm gonna go grab a 9 to 5. I'm just gonna live the rest of my life until I retire and retire.
uh I I don't know about quit. There are days that you just want to kind of, I don't want to be here today. I don't want to do this today. But I could say probably in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, no, there's never been a day I just want to quit and give up. Um, Again, now I've reached a point where to me that would be selfish to those around me, and to myself. I mean, I've put so much work into this with the NLP certification, the John Maxwell stuff, the just everything I do every day. It's like, no, I don't want to quit. But there are days where I'm like, maybe not today, you know. So,
That's
you
cool.
know,
That's
yeah.
cool. I get those days like that where it's like, I'm done.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm the positive, upbeat, hey, let's live an awesome, great life and gratitude and the whole thing. But here, let's be honest, I have bad days. I have days where I lay in that bed and normally I get up out of bed about 4:30 in the morning. And there ain't too many mornings where I actually go, yeah, this will be fun today. Let's get up at 4:30. you know, I mean, we're doing this on a Sunday. I had no reason in the world to get up this morning. Guess what time I got up? 4:30. And but at 4:30 I come in and I get my reading in and I do some meditation and so yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
kind
That's
of
awesome. You said something, I want to touch up on a gratitude. This is part of the part of the podcast that I really want to touch up on and really get into it. Um, Gratitude is, for some men, a very difficult concept to grasp, because we're not taught to think about stuff like gratitude, like what are you grateful for? Because I'll be honest with you, like even with myself, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my nephews, I'm grateful for my sister, but these are all things that any any self-respecting man would be grateful for anyways. But it what I'm trying to say is, how do you identify what are the deeper things that make you grateful for, and how do you help people identify those, especially for men who are having a hard time understanding what gratitude really is?
well, for me, the biggest lesson I was taught was gratitude for myself first. And again, feel like we live in a world where that's presumed as selfish to put ourselves first. But the reality is your presence changes the world. We're doing a podcast right now, and who knows where this is going to touch somebody and change their life. You got up this morning and you drove to church, or you did whatever Easter thing today. You changed the flow of traffic. Like, that's a huge thing. While we may not know that, that's huge. Me, I just talked about my kids and my grandkids. If I'm not grateful for me, if I'm not grateful for my purpose, my life here on earth, they're not here. And that changes the whole trajectory of life. I mean, to literally put yourself first and understand that you are the gift, you know, speaking from a biblical standpoint, like, God gave us a gift, and that's us, you know. And once you appreciate that and understand that first, like, it really does. It changes your whole mindset on, it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to live your fullest life. It's okay to tell everybody no, tell other people no. Um, you know, for me, it's been life changing as far as uh, just appreciating the smallest of things. You know, I don't. There's never a wrong answer for the gift of gratitude. What are you grateful for? But it's, man, how about if we woke up in the morning and we said, man, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to walk today, allowing me to open my eyes and see the world today. Lord, thank you for food today. Thank you for having a roof over my head. I'm so grateful that um, I'm so grateful I didn't have a stroke today. And I say that one just because in writing my book, that was an actual response I got from a lady. Was she wakes up every day and says, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to walk today and be able to talk, because she had a stroke in her sleep. So when she woke up the next morning, now she's getting rushed to a hospital after having a stroke, and half of her body wasn't working. And you know uh men, from the men's standpoint of it, and I know I'm taking a little time with this, from the men's standpoint, we're taught that we're supposed to be the provider, the tough guy, the person that doesn't cry. And to me, those are all false premises. Yes, we are supposed to be a provider. Again, this is going to sound selfish, but it's not. Provide for yourself first, because we can only give what we have. So if I'm not 100% in my own gratitude, in my own health, in my own mindset, then I can't give that. I can give what I have, but I can't give 100%, you know. And as men, we're taught that the toughness is, yeah, you don't cry and you don't say I love you. And, in certain families, like, that's just unheard of, because that shows weakness. Well, the reality is it shows strength. To be vulnerable is so much more powerful than to not show weakness. To show vulnerability is a huge thing, because in doing that, what you actually do is show somebody else that it's okay to do it also. I can be the tough guy. You said martial arts. I did martial arts for 20 years. That's the tough guy. But it's also the tough guy to show your kid, your young boy, that it's okay to cry, that it's okay to have emotions. Just because I cry doesn't mean I'm weak. It means that I have a power that I'm also allowing you to have. So
There's some
that's my.
no that
I hope
that's
that made sense.
yeah, absolutely. You brought up so many good talking points. Like it's interesting because as a man, as men, we're not supposed to feel our feelings. We're supposed to have this stoic, hard exterior. and forget about the feeling, forget about that stoic ideological misconception of what a man is supposed to be. We're still human, and humans are emotional beings. So we need to feel, we need to express feelings in one way or another. Now, I agree with you that men are not supposed, it's okay for a man to cry. It's okay for a man to say, I love you. But a man, at one point, a man should only be able to, a man will cry with somebody who he's close to. Like, he's not going to walk out in the street and say, oh, look at that cute little puppy, and start petting the puppy and start crying because of how cute that puppy is. So there has to be a line. Where is that line? Where do you see that line is where it's too much emotion and just enough?
Well, that's a good question. To me, the line is what you determine it to be, not what everybody else determines it to be. It's your boundaries, it's your values. If let's see here, say we're at a movie, right? And it is an emotional movie. Like your wife talks you into going to the movie or whatever, your girlfriend, whatever, and you go to this movie, and the ending really is sad. I mean, it's like, holy crap, dude. And you catch yourself crying. But hey, I'm a man and we're in public, and well, I'm maybe not allowed to do that. Well, yes, you are allowed to do it because the moment called for a tear, and that's okay. And it's the man that won't cry, that won't show his emotion, is also the guy that won't show his happiness most of the time, that won't show his love. And you got to remember, when you put on that armor as men, when you put on that armor of, hey, I'm stoic, I'm the knight in shining armor, and I don't cry and I don't show emotions, and we have to be, and we've profiled ourselves as we have to be this certain thing. And so we put on that armor so that we don't do it. Well, armor doesn't just hide the tears and the emotions and the crying and the caring, but it also it hides the happiness, the love, the joy, because most men that I know that won't show that love and affection because, hey, I'm the tough guy, they also won't show that they care, because it's all enveloped in one. And so it's, once you beat down one emotion, you beat down all of them. And it's then the man sits there and it's like a ticking time bomb. And when they do blow, they blow, and everything comes out.
Yeah.
So men, it's okay to show emotion. It's, if you got time, we got a second or a minute, I can tell you a perfect story for this.
Go ahead.
And it's me and my cousin were bouncers at a bar. All right. Back when I wasn't as chubby as I am now. But we were bouncers at a bar. Now, I was brought up that when you left somebody's presence, you gave them a hug and you said, I loved you. And I don't care. And it don't matter who's around. And so the first night I worked there, me and my cousin, end of the night, we're getting ready to leave. We give each other a hug, say, I love you. And we hear from across the bar, the owner of the bar, who's like 6'5", 6'6", big old hillbilly, great guy, but just a big old hillbilly. And he screams and he says, hey, y'all don't be doing that stuff in my bar. I don't want to see that crap. Now, me and my cousin, being the little smart asses that we are, I hope it's okay to say that word. We looked at each other, looked at him, ran to him, grabbed him up. We're hugging him. We're saying, I love you. We love you. And he's screaming, get off me. You don't be doing that. Get off me. Don't be touching me. And we started doing that every night. Every night into the night, we'd run and we'd find him and grab him up. We'd hug him, say, I love you. This. And every night he'd scream and holler at us. Fast forward probably, I don't know, 6-7 weeks in. One night I was working by the door and my cousin was working by the door. End of the night, we're ready to leave. We look, we don't see the owner. We're like, no big deal. We'll miss tonight. We gave each other a hug. We're getting ready to leave. And from across the bar, we hear the owner, hey, I didn't get my hug. And we were like, whoa. We changed his whole guy. We changed his whole trajectory on what he thought just because we essentially forced it on him. Ran over, we gave him a hug. About a year later, I was walking through a Target out where this bar was, and I seen this guy's wife, and she come up and gave me a hug and told me, thank you so much. You have no idea how much you all changed my family's life. And we were like, I said, well, what do you mean? And she goes, oh, well, now it's a rule in our house. You don't leave this house unless you give each other a hug and say, I love you. Because you never know when that might be the last time. And she goes, Sammy, and this is what a hug did. She said, our house is happier. Our relationship got stronger. Like, it's just crazy what difference just that simple act of kindness and love does. And that's gratitude, man. I mean,
Yeah.
so
It's funny because back in February, I was watching I went to the theater with a friend of mine to go watch the season finale of season 3 of The Chosen. And I asked my friend not to go because I know how I am when I watch the first time I watch an episode of The Chosen, I'm like a freaking waterfall. And at the end of it, when Simon Peter was walked on water with all the stuff that was going in his life, I literally had my hood over my head, and like I had my shirt because I was freaking bawling. Oh man, I was a mess. And my buddy looked. I didn't pay attention to anything. And after I looked at him, I go, "I told you not to bring me here because I didn't want to do this in public." And he goes, "Yeah, I saw it. I didn't say anything." I'm like, "Oh well, it is what it is."
oh yeah. And it's, I gave my so the movie oh, what was it? The Avengers, the End Game, whenever Iron Man dies at the end. My son-in-law started crying. Now, I didn't. I wasn't at it. Was it a sad moment? Yeah. If you're into that, the whole Marvel stuff and all, it was sad. It was. And he starts crying, and I did what most guys do. And I was like, oh, you big sissy ass, blah, blah, blah. And I was giving him crap. But then I also reinforced it and said, no, man, I get it. I get it. Hey, it was sad. It was sad. And essentially I let him know that, dude, it's okay that you're showing emotion right now. That's okay. You know, that's what I meant earlier by the boundaries. It's up to you to set those. Like for me, it was a sad moment. It wasn't something I was going to tear up at. For him, it was a sad moment. And he wanted to tear up at it. He wanted to cry. And that's okay too. That didn't make him any less of a man. It didn't make him any less powerful. It was just a moment.
It's funny.
So
It's funny because if men don't, I won't say express their feelings on a regular basis, but if they don't express their feelings to at least the people that they care about, it could lead that man to become a narcissist.
yeah, I mean, I could see that.
How would you identify a man as a narcissist?
Well, Well, I wouldn't just say a man. I mean, it's a woman thing too.
It is a woman thing too. Yes.
It's more than anything. I feel like it's a self-centered thing. They're going to put themselves first over everything and everybody else, but yet they're real good at manipulating you. Excuse me. Oh man. And making it feel like it's your fault. Like you can catch you can catch a narcissist in the middle of cheating, like literally in the act of cheating on their spouse, their boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it might be, in the act, and they will make sure that it's not their fault. Like, oh, hey, no, well, because you don't give me the attention, it's your fault that I went and did what I did. Or, well, I mean, look how attractive they are. I mean, do you blame me? I mean, it's not my fault. I mean, no, and that's literally what a narcissist will be. It doesn't matter the situation, it doesn't matter the circumstances. It's not their fault. They have no accountability for themselves. And those are huge things to watch for. It's if you and unfortunately we all have got people like this. The reality is we're all narcissists. Every one of us has narcissist tendencies, you know, because as human beings, what we never want to do is take the blame. Strength comes in taking the blame. Narcissists just won't develop that strength. They won't develop that part of them. And it's nope, I didn't get the raise. Well, it's not my fault. I did everything I was supposed to. They didn't get the promotion. Well, and then the reality is we're on the outside looking in going, dude, you've done nothing. Like, what do you mean what all did you do? Well, I showed up every day. It's not my fault. You know, uh, that's one thing with the narcissist that is huge. I call them the blaming narcissist.
There are, like you said, like, yeah, I agree. We're all narcissists at a certain level, but there is a level of self-awareness with most people saying, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't show up. Maybe it is a little bit my fault. And how would you deal with somebody who you think is like completely gone? They think that they are God's gift to the world, and what their word is God's word, and everything that they do is perfect.
If it's a newer relationship, I mean, once you pick up on it, here's the reality: you got to cut them out of your life. Now, here's the problem with that. I say cut them out of your life if it's somebody that you can afford to cut out of your life. If it's a fiance, a boyfriend, girlfriend, something like that, you got to cut them out. I mean, there's just because there will never be a resolve, never, because they won't allow it. Now, here's the kicker: what if it's your mom or your dad or your kids or your husband and wife that has developed into that? You have to learn to love people from a distance. And what I mean by that is you can't get pulled into their BS. You know, I know a lady that 16-year marriage, and it took her, and it shocked herself. Took her 16 years to realize that she had been in a narcissist relationship. Because again, they're so good at manipulating you. This lady went through, he had cheated on her, verbally abused her, beat her down. And this woman was a high six-figure earner that could never do enough for him. Beautiful woman, works out. I mean, just absolutely top-notch, beautiful woman that was never good enough physically for him. Willing to lose her relationship with her family, her mom, her dad, her brothers and sisters and cousins, because, well, that's what he wanted. You know, they're so good at manipulating you to the point that you will give up everything else. And so the reality is you got to cut them out. And that's what she ended up doing once I say it's almost like being in a coma and you come to and you go, holy crap, I really put up with all that stuff. There was red flags everywhere. Why did I not see them? I remember my mom and dad and sister and brothers telling me, hey, this guy, watch out for him. Hey, look, we see these things. But again, the narcissist is so good at manipulating that he comes back and says, no, 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 no. Don't listen to them. You listen to me. I'm the one that loves you. I'm the one that cares for you. And until once people wake up to it, again, it's like being in a coma and you wake up. Once they wake up to it, it's usually a pretty quick transition into, okay, you've got to be gone. And they figure out a way to cut them out. You know,
What if you find that you keep finding yourself at being, I won't say attracted to, but pulled to narcissists, because because we as human beings, we see that low bearing fruit and we want to grab it. And sometimes that low bearing fruit is rotten inside. How would you help somebody break those habits and tendencies of identifying it before you get into that kind of a relationship? And now, mind you, I'm talking about just a general relationship, not just husband and wife, but also finding new friends, finding new connections, new business partners, stuff, people like that.
first question I would ask them is what about these people makes you feel accepted? Because it's this certain type of person that makes you feel accepted in life. And what about them is making you feel that way? Because that's what they're as the person that gets sucked in all the time. Why do I get sucked in? Well, there's something about them that I've attracted. There's something about them that I see as uh, a basis of love. So we need to figure that out first. Like, what inside of you, and what you're going to find out is most times it's something from our childhood. The way that we were treated as a kid, that maybe we didn't get a lot of love. So you lived in the household that nobody said I love you, and you didn't get hugs, and while it may not seem like that's a big deal, in a lot of ways that's a huge deal, because as we grow up and we do get older, then that narcissist comes along, whether it's a friend or a loved one, per se, a boyfriend, girlfriend. But what we'll even find is we'll get that in our workplace. A boss will learn how to manipulate you just by, hey, today, if I tell John, hey, John, man, thank you so much for showing up today. And you notice that he don't tell nobody else that, but for you, he knows that's a spark. And John's going to bust his butt today because, man, the boss said thank you to me. Well, the reality is that's a narcissist tendency, you know, that he knows he can do that to you. But if I do it to Cindy or Mike or Bill or Judy, well, they don't really care. So it's, why do I need that certain type of love? And then what can I do to change that and accept myself? Because that's most times that's what you're going to get is you attract the people that you feel like you need the most.
And
You know,
it almost sounds like, going back to what you said at the beginning of the show, is being able to put yourself first.
yeah,
If
yes,
someone's
and
never been taught that, how would you help them identify putting yourself first before everybody else?
self-talk. That's a huge thing. Uh, there's a few different things. Evaluate your environment for one, and that's the people that you are around. You know, are you around people that serve you? And I don't mean serve you as in like your slave. I mean, like, are they the people that you want to really be around? Are they doing things that you want to achieve in life? Are they going after their greatness, what they want most out of life? You know, or is it just people that you're hanging around because, well, I've always hung around them and these are just kind of my people, you know? So evaluate your environment, one. Two, how do you talk to yourself? You know, that's a huge thing. If you do not believe that you can achieve, you're right, you won't. If you do not believe that you're really worth the promotion, the new job, a good relationship, happiness in your life, then you're right. You're not going to be those things. You're not going to get those things. So I work a lot with people on how they talk to themselves. It's because, and I don't mean just physically talking. I mean in your head. You've got that little voice in your head that runs so much. Well, it runs pretty much everything we do. And it's how do I talk back to that voice? How do I tell it that I'm in charge and it's not in charge today? You know, that little voice that in 1 minute you're watching maybe TV and a commercial comes on and, you know, the guy or the girl, they're all jacked up and they're in the gym or they're doing martial arts or whatever it is. And you're like, man. And for a moment, you talk back and you say, oh man, I want to do that. I want to achieve that. I want to look like that. I want to be that healthy. And then that little voice, and it's amazing what a whisper can do to change your life. It says, yeah, we can tomorrow. Or let's start next Monday. You know, not today, though, not right now. I mean, we're comfortable right now. We're on the couch. Maybe we got a blanket on us and it's comfortable. But hey, you're right. We will start. And then you don't because that little voice says, okay, whoo, man, we eliminated that obstacle. Whoo, boy, you know, and we fight that voice. And it's learning how to talk back to that voice in every aspect of your life. First and foremost, I will recommend to everybody eliminate the word can't because there is nothing you can't do. You know, I
We
am 5'6", 200 pounds, 48 years old, and I can slam a basketball. I might need some help, but I can do it.
we
You
were
know,
actually going to transition into that because I was on your website and I saw discovermentaledge.com and I saw your video on your website and you were talking about can't, and I wanted to really dive deep into that because that is such a huge word that stops people from
mm-hmm.
greatness. It stops me from being able to achieve what I want, what I know I can do. So, how do you help somebody? Um, n- el- I would say eliminate that word, but come to terms that there's a better way to come around the word can't.
And I'm going to say, yeah, eliminate it. I mean, literally, it is eliminated. You know, I had my brother-in-law had to lose quite a bit of weight. He was a big fella, and he called me up. He said, "Dude, here's what I got to do. I got to lose weight." And blah, blah, blah. And he said, I can't do it. I'm too big. I've got bad knees. I've got a bad back. I can't do it. And I said, here's what I want you to do. I said, grab a can, fill it up with rocks or salt or not salt, but sand or just grab a can. And I want you to walk as far as you know you can walk and still make it back to your house. And as soon as you've gone as far as you can, set the can down, walk back to your house. And then tomorrow I want you to walk and pick up that can and at least move it forward. I don't care how far, but move it. Somehow, some way, move that can forward and then just do that every day. In 3 months, he lost over 150 pounds. I didn't tell him, see what we do, the word can't is we try to overwhelm it. If you say, hey man, I got to lose weight. Oh, okay, well here, go on a diet and here's the diet plan and here's the meal plan and here's all the food you got to buy and you got to drive to the store and you got to drive to the gym and let's go to the gym and now we got to learn all these new weights and now we got to learn how to do the workouts and now we got to do it 5 times a week and now we got holy well no wonder we can't.
Mhm.
We try to overwhelm ourselves with it because we think we got to have it all right now. We got to know how to do it all right now. We got to do it all right now. And that is not how life works.
Yeah.
But if you can move the can every day just a little bit, you can. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the reality.
Yeah. I try to I try to talk to some of my clients when it comes to weight loss, especially now that I'm working as a personal trainer again. It's you see it inside of them. It's like they want to do it, but they just they have these mental blocks because they think it's so complicated, and it is. It is a complicated system because there's so many moving pieces. But like just like you explained, when you have all these pieces thrown at you at the same time, you lost me. You lost me when I'm serious. When you were saying all these things, and I'm agreeing with you, you need all these little pieces. But when you're throwing all these pieces at these people, they're like, whoa, I'm not going to do all this. So it's just as simple as just keeping it simply stupid, keeping it stupidly simple. That's
I,
all it
I
is.
I tell people to just chunk it down. Like, and it's kind of like a goals thing. Like the ultimate goal is say to lose 150 pounds. And you put that up top, like that's the mountaintop. Well, on the mountaintop, okay, you got to climb up the mountain. Don't try to climb it all in one fail swoop. You're not Superman or Superwoman. Climb the ladder, and every ladder is okay. What do I need to, and here's the reality: whatever it is you're going after in life today, today's what matters. Not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today, what are we doing today to make sure that we're better for tomorrow? And it's one thing. So today I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna start eating eggs for breakfast per se. Today that's my goal. I want to make sure I get up and I eat eggs. Now I have other things on my list I would like to do, but that's the one thing I have to make into a habit right now to achieve my goal. And then so you do that and you do it, and then within a few days, okay, well now I got to start eating a healthy lunch, or I got to get supplements, and hey, I'm going to start doing the supplements at 9 o'clock. And so you start at 9 o'clock and you say, okay, I've ate my eggs today, and now I've done my protein shake at 9 o'clock. Cool. Everything else is a bonus, and that's awesome. And if you just go at it, chunk it out, do it a step at a time. It makes it, for one, it doesn't overwhelm you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what you'll find is you'll get results faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
100%. 100%. And you keep it longer too.
oh yeah, yeah. And well, it's because you've developed that habit. You've developed one after the other of habits instead of the habit of losing weight.
Yeah.
You developed a little bit of an eating habit, then a better eating habit. Now the eating habit's good, and then okay, I developed that at 6 a.m. I go to the gym, and okay, today I'm there for 20 minutes, and I developed the habit of now I know how to work this dang machine that I walk on every day. Because when I walked in this gym, I was scared to death and I thought everybody was looking at me because I was fumbling the buttons and I didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Now I'm showing people that I can see that are new, and I'm going, hey man, yeah, just push this button, do that, and da-da. And next thing you know, you're developing that. It's the biggest, the easiest, and I'll say the simplest because none of it's easy. The simplest way to overcome can't is to start little and just work at it and understand that the end goal is that you can. no matter what it is. The end goal is can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Shifting gears just a little bit, I want to get into one of your podcast episodes that I actually listened to, podcast episode number 18, where you're talking about choosing happiness. Now, this is a concept that's relatively very alien to me. It's hard for me to choose happiness. I feel that happiness for myself specifically is something that when certain things come into play, then I will be happy.
mhm.
How can you coach? What are some tips that you could tell somebody like me to change that mentality?
Okay. It, gratitude, gratitude. It starts literally for me. It starts in gratitude. Um, I think it was last week. My neighbor come over at 6 a.m. and said, "Hey, dude, my car's dead. Can you come give me a jump?" 6 a.m. And I walk outside and I said, "Yeah, yeah, no problem." We go out. This man was not concerned that he was going to be late for work, not concerned that his car couldn't start, not concerned that he was going to be in trouble with his boss. He talked about how beautiful the morning was. Oh my God, Sammy, look at this sunrise. This is amazing. God, and the weather's so nice today. I mean, and then he was talking about how the morning air felt on his skin. He was engulfed in gratitude. Now, how many of us, he chose gratitude and happiness over, I'm going to get in trouble when I get to work. I hope that my car starts here in a few minutes. I, if not, am I going to have to buy a battery? Am I going to have to spend money? How many of us would have, in that moment, that morning, would have ruined our whole day? And it would have ruined the whole day. You're like, oh, great. Oh, my day's screwed. I should just go back to bed. And that's what we tell ourselves. I should have just go back to bed. No, he chose gratitude and happiness. He chose the way he looked at his world instead of letting the world choose it for him. Because we're all going to have circumstances. We're all going to have bad stuff. We're going to have negative things. We're going to have the car not start, the car break down. How do we choose to look at it? And it is up to you. And again, that goes back to talking to that voice in your head. That goes back to fighting uh, that whisper that says, "Have a bad day." No, this is negative right now. Nope. Uh, I had a flat tire about 3 weeks ago. Now, 5, 6 years ago, I'm cussing, I'm hollering. I hate flat tires. I'm on the side of the highway. This is BS. Holy crap, blah, blah, blah. Tire blew out. My truck I flobble over to the side of the road. And I'm like, well, I got to change my tire. I didn't get mad. I didn't get overwhelmed. I just said, well, I got to change my tire. You know, happiness is a choice, and it's a choice that you have to make in you. The outside world, when I see my grandkids happy and having fun and playing, that's great. That causes happiness in me, but I have to choose that. And it's once you understand that you've fought that little voice, it always goes back to how you talk to yourself. How do you perceive yourself? How grateful are you for yourself? How happy are you for yourself? Once you really understand that, be selfish and that's okay. Put yourself 100%, you know, and what you'll find is that happiness becomes a lot easier choice and it comes a lot quicker. Bad stuff's going to happen. You can get out of it a whole lot faster.
Like I said, it's a lot of work for me. But and for all
Oh,
my listeners and from all my viewers, after you're done listening to this episode, I highly recommend to go to Sammy's website, discovermentaledge.com, and listen to his podcast. It is great. You have a fan here. Um,
Thank you.
there's there is one thing that I do want to talk up before we start to wrap up the show. You did something called 75 hard. Now, at the beginning of
Uh,
the year, I was introduced to it, but I didn't do it because I didn't want to. I had other things at the beginning of the year that I wanted to dedicate myself to. I'm going to be most likely looking at it in a couple of weeks. What is
mhm.
75 hard?
75 Hard is a program that I'm from outside of St. Louis. That a gentleman here in St. Louis, his name's Andy Frisella, uh, came up with this program. It's a free program. It's what it really is. It's a mental toughness program. It develops mental toughness. The reality is you're going to lose weight doing it. I mean, you're physically going to change your body in doing it. And it's 5 things that, excuse me, that no matter what you do every day for 75 days, there's no off days, there's no weekends, there's no holidays. You do this 75 days straight. And the 5 things are you do 2 workouts every day, 2 45-minute workouts every day. They have to be at least 3 hours apart. One of them has to be outside. The way I got my brother in law to walk, that's a workout. Most people don't think of walking as a workout. That is a workout. Now, walk with intention, walk as best you can, but walk. For 45 minutes a day, I mean, holy crap, you would be shocked at how much that will transform your body and your mind. But it has to be one inside, one outside. Or you can do both outside, it doesn't matter. No matter, and here's the fun part. Again, no matter what the weather is. When I did 75 hard, we had 2 different days. There was tornadoes. Now, if there's a tornado like over you, don't go outside. But the concept is I walked in the pouring rain, like I was soaked. And then another day it was like 85 degrees and I was sweating to death. I mean, you do what you do. That's where the mental toughness comes in because there's no excuses. The weather is not an excuse. I have to get my walk in. So you do the 2 workouts. That's one thing. You drink a gallon of water, not flavored water, not Sprite because it's white, not water. You drink water. You read 10 pages of a self-help book, right? It doesn't matter what it is, some kind of something that enthuses you, not Harry Potter or something like that. It has to be something that's self-help. Maybe you want to start a business or you want to learn how to crochet or something that will help you in your personal development. 10 pages. Um, you have to start a diet. You have to do a diet. Again, there's 10,000 diets out there. Pick one. And if it's not working, pick another one. But you got to stay on some kind of diet. Track your macros, your calories, your fats. Do something uh, for 75 days. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3. Is that 4?
That's 4.
Fifth one, and this one was the kicker for me, just from a standpoint of I'm a dork, and it's the easiest thing to do, and it's the thing that will get a lot of people. Take a selfie, which we all do, but you have to take a selfie of yourself every day of a full body selfie every day. You ain't got to post it nowhere. You just have to take it. That way you can see yourself develop.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can see your physical change. You can, and it's again, this whole program is really based around mental toughness. Because how many people don't like to take a picture of themselves, especially not half naked or 3/4 of the way naked once a day? How many people say, I don't want to do that? No, I'm not doing that. Well, yeah, you got to do it. And you become more comfortable with yourself. How much mentally would that help? You know, doing 2 workouts a day for one, is going to make you more mental tough. It's going to build that confidence. It's going to build everything in you just because you feel better. Along with the diet, the drinking the water thing is hard, especially at first, because you will have to go to the bathroom all the time. All the time. What's crazy is once I got about probably maybe 30 days in, I craved water. Like my body, if I didn't wake up and for some reason I get up and the first thing I do, even now, I drink 20 ounces of water. For some reason, if I forget to do that or was late doing it, my body was telling me, hey, we need water. We need water now.
Yeah.
You know, the reading part was easy for me. I read all the time. I'm a reader. That's what I do. So, and that's just to better yourself, you know. So 75 Hard is a program it actually has turned into, there's a Live Hard program. That's a whole, it's a year program, but it's actually done in a matter of, I think, 5 months total throughout the year.
Okay.
But first and foremost, yeah, do the 75 Hard. Andy's got a book out there. Again, the program's free. I think the book is 12 or 13 bucks or something like that. But he's got a podcast. You can go on there. He tells everything involved in 75 Hard and what to do, what it takes, you know, the whole thing.
Very
But
cool.
it's no excuses, man.
Yeah.
You do it, and I'm gonna tell you what, it develops some habits that are needed for greatness. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
You know, and
100%.
you look at yourself and you go, holy crap, I just did this thing. I can do anything now. I can do it. Like after going through that, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, like in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks from the day of this recording, I'm going to be getting myself into the 75 Hard because nobody wants to work with a fat personal trainer.
Well, you know, that is true. That is true. That is, yeah. You know,
Work. Sorry.
you
Go
know,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that'd be like me showing up at somebody's house to paint their house, and I'm in a suit and tie, going, "All right, I can't get dirty." They might say,
Exactly.
"Oh boy, this might not be the guy we wanted."
Exactly. We're coming up close to the end of the show. And these are the 8 questions that I ask all my guests, or 7 or 8 questions I ask all my guests. I just like to get your point of view on them.
All right.
With the increase in people suffering from depression from the past 2-3 years of uncertainty that we've been living through, what would be the one thing that you could tell them to keep their hopes up?
As we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, life is always changing. It's ever evolving. Imagine how more powerful you would be in your life instead of embracing the change. You were the change, because that's the choice that you get to choose. Was the last 2 years overwhelming and crazy? Did we lose our jobs? Did places shut down? And yeah, that all happened. But somehow or another, you're still here. Somehow or another, you're still going. And you get to make that choice of how great can I make today? You know, so yeah, that question, we could do a whole nother show on that question. So it's hard for me to answer in a sentence or so, because to me, again, you control your mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so it's a good question. It just, man, I could do a whole show on that.
Well, I know. What is the one thing that you do daily that amplifies your ability to stay focused?
Read. Read. I mean, literally read books. Uh, and again, I read mostly self-help books, uh, motivational, inspirational, stuff like that. But just I said it earlier, Harry Potter. Read something, because what it actually does, it opens your brain up to think in different ways. It helps you with problem solving. Problem solving is huge in life, but it helps you with problem solving. It helps you, uh, if you're reading a book, say about motivation or inspiration, you can't be depressed in that moment. You can't be depressed while you have no anxiety in that moment. You have no sadness unless you're reading the sad part of a story. You can't because your brain doesn't work in the positive and negative at the same time. So if I'm reading a book, I can't be depressed. I can't be anxious. So read every day, and you literally will watch your life change. I mean, you just read.
Very cool.
You know?
Very cool. If you could pick up the phone right now and call yourself at 20 years old, what would you tell yourself?
Um, Take responsibility for your own actions. I spent, and I know a lot of people, we do, again, like, not to the point of a narcissist, like a severe narcissist, but I can think back on my life to a lot of times and go, man, I should have got that. I should have been there. Why wasn't I chosen? Why? And then now I can look and go, well, you didn't do anything. You didn't really deserve it. So that's the answer why, because you didn't really do anything to get it. You know,
L-
uh,
Looking back, would you change anything?
no,
Good
no,
answer.
yeah, no. If I change anything, then I'm not here right now. Uh, I just did a video on this. Once you understand how powerful your story is, you'll help somebody else, and that'll be their solution. You know, and I deal with this a lot with the depression and the anxiety, mental health with people. Is so many people don't know why should I get out of bed today? What good am I doing in the world today? What am I? I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I was in jail. I used to be, this or that. And it's that we've all got a story. We've all got stuff. You have to go through that, and now you've overcome it to help somebody else overcome their story. You know, and that's a hard thing to come to terms with. But once you do it, I mean, it's very empowering, very empowering
Yeah.
that you're the reason that somebody else needs today.
Yeah. What scares you?
The dentist. The dentist. Yeah.
Still.
That's still, man. Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh, this is another funny question to me, because not really anything. I mean, again, I live in a world of gratitude, and I know that it sounds hokey to some people, and I know it does. And to me, 5, 6 years ago, it sounded hokey to me. Like, oh, this guy and his positive mindset, and oh yeah, whatever, what crap. But I'm telling you, once you get in that mindset, once you get in that world, it really is. It's like you just kind of blow things off. Like you're driving to work in the morning and somebody cuts you off, and next thing you know, you're road raging. Or you can just wave at them and go, "All right, man, have a good one." It's perspective. It's how you look at it. It's how you accept it into your life. So yeah, the dentist. That's my fear. I still have not accepted the dentist.
Where do you see mental edge in the next 5 years?
Mental edge will be standing in front of thousands and thousands of people that have overcome their own depressions, anxieties, addictions, and they've developed mindsets of champions, and that might sound hokey, but that's the goal. That's the reality is we're all winners. We're all champions. We're all, I'm going to say this word because this is my word. To me, everybody's a badass. And it's something that we just got to release out into the world and go, hey, I accept it. I am. I am powerful and I am a badass. And that's where mental edge is. Mental edge is the part. I came up with that name because to me, it's everybody's on the edge of your greatness. And it's a simple choice. It's a simple choice. It's a simple change. You just have to accept and want that change or that choice. Greatness is right there. It's right there.
Very cool. What about your book? I know in the intro, I mentioned that you are an author with a new book, Broken Gratitude. Where do you see that in the next 5 years?
I see that being probably my third book or my first of three books because I've already got the second one I'm starting to write. I see it as being a good launching point for mental edge for myself. Uh, it's a short read, but it's very deep, meaningful for me. This again, this was a huge change for me. I'm a construction guy that now all of a sudden I wrote a book about gratitude. Like, where'd that come from? That's a story in itself. But it was an experience that I truly enjoyed that I never knew I would writing a book. It got me writing a blog and really brought back something that I never knew was there, and that was an enjoyment of helping people in a certain way. Because again, I believe we all help people, but in a certain way. And for me, it was through my stories, my struggles, my holding my mom's hand when she passed away to find gratitude. I mean, that's just that there in itself is so powerful, and I want to share that with people to let them know that um, there's gratitude in everything, and you got to be able to see it and want to see it and know that it's there.
Mhm.
You know,
Where can people find more about you?
discovermentaledge.com. That's the website. Instagram is _Sammy J, and the old TikTok. Mental Edge. Those are my three big places. Um, so yeah, those, especially the website, because I'm starting to do a lot more stuff on there, and I'm going to put out. I'm doing the free blog. I want to put out a lot of information on that website. Just my goal isn't to lower the number of suicides every day; it's to eliminate it. Because my biggest regret when I hear about people that have unfortunately succeeded uh, is that I didn't get to talk to them. And I don't care if I know them. I don't care if you know, it's a complete stranger. And that's my biggest regret is I didn't get to talk to them and let them know that they can be heard.
And your book can be found.
It can be found. I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but I have been told by my publisher by April 28th should be our release date.
Okay.
Until then, you can pre-order it on discovermentaledge.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it should be out by then. It should be out by then. This podcast will be out probably end of May, sometime in end of May. Any final thoughts?
For one, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I feel like me and you will definitely be talking more in the future. Especially you start 75 hard. I'd love to hear how your progress goes on that. But two, just everybody out there, go after your greatness and understand that gratitude is in you, and you can be and you're allowed to be first, and that's okay.
Sammy, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate all the work that you do. It is very necessary. And your book, Broken Gratitude, is a must read for people. I will be picking it up when it comes out. Just to read it because I'm a big reader as well. I love reading, especially stuff that's I find hard for me. And gratitude is one of those things that is hard for me. And for I'm sure a lot of my listeners out there, it's not an easy thing to put yourself first, to find gratitude in your life, even though that we have a tendency of bringing narcissists in and controlling our lives. I know because I am that. And to have you and share your knowledge and put yourself out there like that, it shows the kind of man that you are, and that's a good man to have in your circle. So
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And for all my listeners and all my watchers, wow, all the people watching this on YouTube, Rumble, and all the people that are listening to this on wherever you're listening to this. In a few minutes, I want you all to go to his website, discovermentaledge.com, order that book, Broken Gratitude. If it should hopefully be on Amazon. And
yes, it will be.
Okay, go to Amazon, get the book, read it, and let Sammy know what you think of it.
Yes.
Going through hard times is just a test. What you need to know is that when you get out of whatever you're going through, you will be stronger than ever before, and you don't need to go through it alone. Always know that you are not alone. Stay tuned for more real people with amazing stories that are just like yours. Until then, to everyone out there listening, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you may be in this crazy world. Hey guys, John from Resilient Reboot Productions and the Fitness Oracle. First and foremost, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and share this episode with someone who you think that would find value out of it. If you are listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, or whatever streaming service you are using, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, as it will help us reach out to more people that are suffering from mental health issues. But before you go, I'd like to invite you to join the Alliance. Podcasters Wellness Alliance is the ultimate community for content creators who are passionate about producing top quality work while prioritizing their physical, mental, and emotional health. With a holistic approach to wellness, this supportive community provides resources, tools, and support to help content creators thrive in their podcasting journey. From customized programs to regular events and workshops, Podcasters Wellness Alliance empowers content creators to achieve balance, growth, and resilience in their lives and businesses. As a member of the Podcasters Wellness Alliance, you'll have access to a network of like-minded individuals who understand the unique challenges of the creative industry. You can connect and collaborate with fellow podcasters, share experiences, learn from one another, and develop new skills, from improving content creation techniques to managing finances and growing businesses. Podcasters Wellness Alliance offers valuable resources to help you succeed in your podcasting venture. Join Podcasters Wellness Alliance and experience the transformational power of incorporating wellness into your podcasting journey. Boost your podcast and elevate your well-being with the support of a community that values both content and wellness. Discover a place where you can find inspiration, support, and guidance to achieve your full potential as a content creator while maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Elevate your podcasting game with a Podcasters Wellness Alliance. Join us today.